This section includes drills that can be used in private lessons. A reminder, refer back to the hitting drills section for drills with only 2 players. These can be used in private lessons as well, but were not included here to avoid repeating any drills. In this private lesson drill, the pro is on the bottom left of your screen. He's hitting to a student on the far side, trying to run him side to side with controlled ground strokes. The student here is told to hit all the balls back to the pro. Here's a box drill that you can try with your students. First, feed a wide forehand, then a forehand approach shot, followed by a forehand volley. Move the player over by hitting a backhand volley, then an overhead. Bring the player up, have him touch the net, drop back, and hit a more difficult overhead, then run backwards to the baseline, then shuffle to the right, completing the box. Here's a similar pattern drill where the player starts on the backcourt, hits an approach volley, then a close the net volley, backhand volley, drops back for a deep overhead, then starts it all over again. Your players will get a kick out of this water drill. It'll work on smoothness and balance. Have them hold a cup of water and feed balls to them, hitting the ground strokes back in play. Try to make sure they don't drink or spill the water. In this passing shot drill, the pro feeds the ground stroker side to side. The player works on his cross-court passing shot, hitting to the target areas, working on a short corner passing shot. This drill is really a great footwork drill to move one player around. You feed him a wide forehand, he goes back to the center starting point, then an approach volley on the forehand side, he returns back to the center, then an approach shot on the forehand side. You repeat the same 3-ball series on the backhand side. Make sure you stress that the player goes back to the starting spot each time. This drill is designed to help the player work on changing his grips quickly between shots. Here the pro feeds 4 or 5 balls in rapid succession to the player, who must make a quick grip shift to be able to hit the shots back. Don't feed them wide, just feed them quickly. Here's a 10-ball drill where the pro feeds 5 shots and makes the player move off to his right, across the baseline, hitting all forehands. Once he reaches the far side, he makes him come right back to the starting point, hitting back out forehands.
Whatever I get, go back.
This drill is designed to help give the volleyer practice at hitting to the opposite corner. Here the pro, who's off the picture here, feeds to the volleyer who hits the target area, here the hopper.
Whose drill is it?
This is a good drill to give the overhead player a chance to work at angling the shot off. Here the pro, who in theory can keep the ball in play, moves side to side. He sometimes can stay put, and the player at the net should hit the overhead back to wherever the pro is standing. Here's a very tiring 20-ball drill. Works on overheads and volleys. The pro feeds a lob up and the player hits the overhead to a target area. Then the pro floats a ball and the player volleys the ball off to a target area. This drill works on the approach shot and the volley. Here the pro feeds a short ball to the player's forehand. The player moves in and hits the approach shot down the line. The pro moves to the corner where the approach shot would have gone and feeds a second ball cross-court to simulate the passing shot attempt. The player hits the forehand or backhand volley to the open court area, then the pro and the player can play out the point. Here's a mini tennis drill you can do. This is called the mini tennis scramble. Here, the pro makes the player scramble as he hits side to side. The player must hit the ball back to the pro. Rather than just feed the ball up the middle, keep him on his toes. Hit balls to either his forehand or backhand wide to keep him alert and awake. This drill helps enforce control and placement from the student and from the pro. When the student is on the far court here, he works on all forehands, hitting 2 at the net, then 2 at the service line, low volleys, and then 2 on the baseline. The pro then hits the ball cross court, and the same series of shots is attempted on the backhand side. 2 ground strokes on the backhand from the backcourt area, then the student comes in and hits 2 balls from the midcourt area, probably low volleys. Then he moves into the net to hit 2 regular volleys. This is a competitive ground stroke volley game. The player on the far court, the ground stroker, attempts passing shots off the volleyer's shots. The only rule is the volleyer must control his volley down the line. Players will play the point out full court. Here's a decision drill where the pro, who has the basket here, feeds the ball to the ground stroker. The ground stroker attempts the passing shot to the open court based on where the net player is covering. If the net player goes straight in, the player can attempt the lob. Here's a combination drill where the volleyer and baseliner try 3 shots in succession. The baseliner hits a ball to the volleyer in this order. First a forehand, then a backhand, and then the lob. To help the student work on gaining confidence during tiebreakers, play a set with them where each game is played as a tiebreaker. Use tiebreaker scoring for each game and make sure the student knows how to keep track of that score.